All right, time to finally sit down and record my first impressions about Clair Obscure Expedition 33. It's been really fun to play, and oh, it has 500,000 copies sold already. Wait, no, it has a million copies sold already. I'm hearing it's the highest rated game in terms of user reviews on Metacritic of all time. It just broke 100,000 concurrents on Steam. And we're not even counting Game Pass. Oh.
We are Expedition 33.
Hello everyone, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman, and if you enjoy what I do, including coverage of just skyrocketingly popular JRPG style games like Clair Obscure Expedition 33, then a like on this video and a subscription to the channel would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much. And of course, as always, thank you to all of my channel supporters. You will see all of their names scrolling by at the end of the video. So yeah, Clair Obscure Expedition 33, we knew this one was going to be a banger. I was covering it during the lead up to its release. Everything we were seeing about it was absolutely phenomenal looking, but you know, new studio, small team, very ambitious project, recipe for disaster, right? Apparently not this time. Expedition 33 is taking the world by storm. Everyone is talking about it. It's the next Baldur's Gate 3. It's the next Elden Ring. Literally nobody can put it down, and honestly, it is very easy to see why. I've got about 10 hours in the game thus far. I've watched a few other people play some of it, including my girlfriend Jane, who just started playing it. And there's just a certain magic to this game. And I kind of wanted to talk today, before I start doing guides and informational content and all that type of good stuff, about why this is hitting people so hard. Because I have had some people kind of ask me why I think it's hitting so hard. Jane and I were talking about it over breakfast this morning. Why is this game popping off so much, right? And I think it's really a combination of two major factors. One, a lot of old heads, like myself, are so happy to have a game that is clearly created by people our age who grew up playing the games that we played and wanted to make a game like that, while also being people who have a lot of industry experience and know what it's like to not only make a good product, but be bogged down by corporate AAA slop. And that's one of the big things we're going to talk about here in the video. When you take people like that who have passion and experience and talent, who come from the same background that so much of the current audience for gaming comes from, and let them make the game that reminds them of what they played when they were kids and made them passionate about this whole thing, it's very easy to see how everyone else who's still just game players, not game makers, be like, oh my god, this is what games were like when I grew up. There's no battle passes. There's no DLC. There's no bugs. There's no predatory monetization. There's none of that. It's not $70, $80 with all sorts of there's like a deluxe edition, but even then, that's only $70. The base game is $50. And yet it's a complete package with beautiful visuals, incredible voice acting, insanely phenomenal OST, and deep gameplay mechanics. So many of these being things that have been sacrificed to make these huge, big budget games that have massive dev teams and massively over-bloated budgets. It feels like a piece of art. It feels like something that was made out of passion. And that has really reignited the hearts of people who grew up playing video games. The second half of things is a new generation of players. People who've grown up in the current AAA live service, battle pass, battle royale, multiplayer, loot box, microtransaction, ballooning prices, ballooning dev costs, ballooning team size type of environment that has caused so many issues for the overall AAA scene that we're seeing now, resulting in massive layoffs, increases in prices, massive budgetary issues, etc., that's dragging the industry down. Now they're getting a product that is a reasonable price, made by incredibly talented and passionate people, with no effort spared for combat systems, complexity, story, and world building in the name of art. You know, and of course there's going to be people out there like, well, yeah, but there's a ton of great indie games, AA games. There's examples of things like Baldur's Gate 3 and Elden Ring. Those should all be reasons that this new generation of players have experience with this type of thing, right? And while you're not wrong there, the thing about Clair Obscure is it is an old game in terms of its design philosophy. You don't get many big, grand scope JRPGs anymore, right? The French team, I know, but they've clearly stated this is meant to be a JRPG in terms of its style. You get a ton of indie games, and they're phenomenal. Absolutely no shade to them whatsoever. But Final Fantasy doesn't really do it anymore. Dragon Quest is there. but it comes out pretty infrequently, and for a lot of people, they maybe don't like the art style or the presentation of it, which is just a taste thing. I know there's obviously the Dragon Quest games are phenomenal, but still different. And even then, like active turn-based battle systems with dodging and parrying, like hello, Super Mario RPG and Legend of Dragoon. How old are those games? And they're some of the only games that are well known to have done that. You know, the other Mario RPGs as well have inherited that, but like smaller scope. It's Mario. It's for kids, quote unquote, even though I don't agree with that argument. So now for the first time, you have an old style game being presented and created in the modern era with modern trappings for an audience that may not have ever seen that before. So there's a lot of passion and drive there. In terms of audience reaction, I think that's why there's so much buzz around Expedition 33 right now. To say nothing of the fact that, again, this is an incredibly talented dev team. For those of you who don't know, Sandfall Interactive, the team that made Expedition 33, this is their first game as a studio. For most of them, it is not the first game that they have worked on. A large majority of them are former Ubisoft devs. From what I understand, many members of the team have come in from other projects that were brought together to help work on Expedition 33. Most of them are gamers. You can even see, we've talked about it before, on the company's website. All of the major devs are listed with all of their favorite games that they've played, either in the past as kids or currently growing up. So you can see that they have inspiration, that they have passion for gaming as an art form. But now, they're independent. They don't have massive overheads from investors. They're not being forced to cut out content to make it DLC or some sort of like battle pass cosmetic or loot box cosmetic or anything like that. You're not experiencing any of those problems. You're not being made to turn it into a live service to try and sell pieces of content over time to keep people engaged over and over again. We're not trying to force the absolute pinnacle of realistic graphics. The game looks phenomenal. You can still see there are some like janky facial animations and stuff. But those rough edges, not being forced to be filed down into a focus group sheen, is what gives the game passion. It's what gives the game soul. Combine that with the fact that there's no one here trying to sanitize the story or the dialogue to make it have the widest mass market appeal, and it's suddenly pretty easy to see why things are going in this direction. I mean, hell, the devs released the game's entire soundtrack, 8 hours of beautiful orchestral, sung, vocalized music on YouTube for free for everyone to go and listen to and enjoy as much as they want and whenever they want. You could never see that from a Sony game, a Nintendo game, from an Ubisoft game, from a Microsoft Studios game. None of them would ever do that. They would sell you that for a big premium. Otherwise, they're going to be taking down what people are posting on YouTube and things of the like. The devs just put it out there because they can, because they want people to enjoy their art. They want people to talk about it, experience it, share it with the dev team and with each other. And that's, I think, the crux of what's going on here. Expedition 33 is a phenomenal game. We'll talk a little bit about the story and the characters and everything in a minute. But as far as why it is having so much of an impact on the gaming industry right now, it's because people are really good at smelling bullshit. We always have been. But over time, people have been beaten, abused, shouted down, told, no, you don't like this for X, Y, or Z, or you're just being a hater, this just isn't for you, whatever, to justify not criticizing bad decisions and poor treatment of customers and enjoyers of art. It's been happening constantly, and it's why so many people have been moving to indie and AA type stuff, and it's why people put companies like FromSoft on a pedestal, because they don't do that type of stuff. Same thing with Larian Studios. They don't do that type of stuff. And those are some of the most celebrated games around. When it comes down to brass tacks, people can feel when something is genuine and made with love and given to the people to enjoy out of that sense of passion and love. And now Expedition 33 is showing how powerful of an effect that can be. And hopefully, that's a major learning position for the AAA market as a whole. I've been seeing a lot of comments online the last couple of days about how Expedition 33 is the downfall of the AAA market, about how they have so many lessons that they need to learn from this. This is going to destroy all these other major games. It's going to prove that everything else has been done wrong. And I don't necessarily agree with all of that. There's absolutely lessons that AAA studios should be learning from this, especially concerning budget and team size and scope. But there's also a lot of good that's come out of AAA. There's a lot of good people that work in AAA. Without the AAA space and Ubisoft making what they make, we might never have gotten Expedition 33, because the people who are making it might not have been able to survive long enough or exist in the industry, get the experience that they needed to turn around and make something like this. So I don't think it's quite appropriate to go that hard on the Expedition 33 versus AAA idea. But I do think that this adds to the overall pantheon of games that are going to be showing these devs, these studios, and these execs who've been making poor decision after poor decision in terms of how these major games are coming out and how they're being made, that they need to go back and rethink things a little bit. And hopefully, we see that shift happening faster and faster here. Now, with discussion of the overall buzz out of the way, because I just couldn't avoid talking about it, I was not going to originally when I first started planning this video, and then just news article after news article and post after post kept coming out about how the game's just been more and more wildly successful as time has been going by, so we had to talk about it. I do just want to talk about the overall game experience for a second. I'm going to have some spoilery stuff in here, so I'll have a timestamp for when I get to the end past all of that. That might be a little bit too much for you. It's all very early. We're talking like first hour and a half of the game. But if you want to go in completely blind, totally understand, you can skip to the timestamp here. Now, if you're still here, I'm assuming you're cool, so let's go on. The first hour and a half of Expedition 33 hits so incredibly hard. Learning about the world of Lumiere, learning about the Grammage ceremony, seeing how society has been warped and brutalized and changed and made to fit into this mold of an ever-decreasing population and an ever lower age of death for said population is stunningly effective. And I started watching Jane play the game last night, so I have a very fresh image of this in my mind. But you get in so quickly. We're talking about characters cracking morbid jokes about, well, you need to go and talk to Sophie before she turns to dust and withers away. And, oh, well, you know, that's very, oh, you talk about Sophie, oh, well, it's very dark. And like how people have kind of learned to deal with this scenario that they're forced to be living in. Going through and talking to everyone in town and seeing everyone who's wearing the garlands and how you suddenly get the realization, oh, these are all the people who are about to die today. Seeing their tearful farewells with their loved ones, seeing them chatting and having fun with their friends for one last time, you know, playing some games, listening to some music, doing whatever it is that they love in life as they know that they have this extremely clear end point and it's nearly upon them. Getting to see the love that Sophie and Gustav have for each other, despite the fact that they've been apart for 4 years because Gustav wanted kids and Sophie did not, and that tore them apart, is so heart-wrenching when you have the realization that this exact story, with all little nuances for each different couple or each different member of a parent and child duo or anything like that, is happening dozens if not hundreds of times throughout the square and throughout the rest of the city. That's rough. That's really impactful, and the music and the art and the setup of all of it makes you feel it in a way that not a lot of other games are able to make you feel quite so quickly. Then you get to the end of the night, everyone begins to say their goodbyes, the paintress stands up, and she changes the number from 34 to 33. The music hits, everyone begins to fade away, all these characters that you just got to meet for the first time, and then their life is gone in the blink of an eye.
I'm here.
Only to be left with Gustav and Sophie standing on the edge of the pier, and all he can say is that he's there. And she says she knows, and she's gone. I've seen that scene no less than 5 times now. Playing the game myself, reviewing my own footage, watching other YouTubers like Christopher Odd play the beginning of the game, watching Jane play the beginning of the game. I've cried every single time. There is an emotional weight to that scene that immediately draws everyone into the game. And that's before we even get to the expedition ceremony. All the characters talk about how they're going to beat the painters, what all their plans are, how they're going to do it, why they want to do it. The victorious send-off as we sail off towards the island with the powerful words of our city leader ringing in our ears. We're going to go get revenge. A lot of different people with a lot of motivations and a lot of different skills are going to actually see this thing done to make sure that no one has to lose anyone else like we just lost Sophie and all these other wonderful characters in the first hour of the game. We're going to do it. How could we not? Doesn't matter that no one else has come back. This time is different. Then you land on the beach.
Get ready.
Which expedition are you from?
Oh, shit. Fall back! Whereas a lot of people, myself included, get sucked in by the gommage scene with the loss of Sophie and all of these other characters that we just met. Not everyone gets quite as grabbed by that. Jane was one of them. Jane did get grabbed by what everyone is calling the Normandy scene. You land on the beach, an old man shows up, his cane thumping in time to the soundtrack of the music. Everyone's stunned. He shouldn't be alive. How did he survive the gommage? He must be 50, 60. And right as you begin to ask him, with one flick of his wrist, he decapitates your expedition leader, and everyone scatters as magical artillery, monsters, shots we don't even know erupts around you, and everything devolves into chaos. You and your friends hide. A mist descends over the beach. Horrifying monsters from the depths of hell appear and start sucking people away into the void like we're in a horror movie. Gustav gets got, wakes up on the continent, and you're left to go and figure out what the hell just happened. This is one of the most effective intros to a video game that I've ever played, and I've played a lot of good ones. But going from one emotional high to another, only to be dumped in what I can only describe as Final Fantasy meets the Feywild and told, have at it, you're ready, go explore and figure it out, is so compelling. Because now not only do I want to get revenge and stop everything that's been happening and save the people of Lumiere, I also want to know what the hell just happened on that beach, what happened to my team, and how has this not been something that's been reported on, or how are we not prepared for this? What are we supposed to do about this? I must answer all of these questions immediately. And that's the power of Expedition 33 in terms of its storytelling. It pushes you forward with such a compelling narrative that has so many questions in it, but that feel like questions that will be answered. The seeds have been sown, you just have to get out there and find them. And in so doing, you're going to discover a world of such incredible creativity and love and fear and raw emotional experience, all packed into an incredibly deep, skill tree focused, character building, reactive, turn-based combat RPG. I don't know how they put these two different facets together with 30 people, or 33 people, I think is the full count. It's absolutely insane. Needless to say, I'm absolutely going to be playing the rest of Clair Obscure Expedition 33. I was not intending to stream all of it, but I think at this point I kind of have to. Everyone loves this game. Everyone who's watched me play this game has immediately committed to going and buying it for themselves. Other content creators have been reporting the exact same thing from their audiences online. Everyone is talking about this one, and for good reason. So, if you have the ability to pick up Expedition 33 for yourself on whatever platform you could potentially run it on, I absolutely encourage you to do so. You know, as an example, I follow a lot of Destiny creators from back when I played Destiny very regularly. And these are hardcore shooter, PvP, like loot goblin grinders, right? They've all been picking up Expedition 33. They say they haven't played a turn-based game ever, or maybe not since like Final Fantasy VII when they were kids. And they immediately have fallen in love with this game. It is a seminal title. It's going to be a genre-defining title. And there's an extremely strong chance that it is going to win Game of the Year this year. And I would not complain if it did so, despite my personal Game of the Year, of course, still being Dark Deity 2. Absolute hats off to everyone at Sandfall for creating what is an absolute all-time RPG. I can't wait to see what they create next, how this proceeds forward for them, if we get more Expedition 33, more new titles from them. And I'm very excited to keep seeing people be excited about this game. It's one of my favorite times when everyone comes together over one title and just gushes over it. It's what makes gaming special to me. So let me know your thoughts about Expedition 33 in the comments. If you've been playing it for yourself, if you've just been watching me or other creators play it, what has your experience been with it? Are you enjoying it as much as I am? And are you excited to see what else happens next? Until the next video and the next stream, my name has been Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman. Thank you to all of my channel supporters once again, both my patrons and my YouTube members. You can see their names scrolling by on the right-hand side of the screen now. If you would like to support the channel directly yourself and help make sure that things are just a little bit more stable around here so I can keep putting out regular content for y'all, you can find links to both the Patreon and my YouTube memberships in the description down below. Thank you so much for anyone who considers supporting through that. With that said, though, I hope you all have a good night. Stay safe and healthy out there. And remember, be good to each other, y'all. Bye now.